Today, we're going to talk about the number one nutrition principle. I know you can Google 100 health tips out there, but I think it's great to just start with this one. It's super simple and very, very effective. And let's be honest, it can be confusing out there. You might have heard red wine's better than white wine, spinach is better than romaine, grains or carbs are evil. And it could feel like good nutrition is super complicated. And so anytime you're overwhelmed, maybe you tried too many things at once, let's take it back. And I suggest starting with this one habit, the number one nutrition principle. And it's as simple as this, simple in theory, more simple in theory, but I think also pretty simple to apply. Eat mostly, or at least more, minimally processed foods. Most people would define this as choosing foods that are as close to how they are found in nature. So you might have heard someone say whole foods. That's sweet potatoes, broccoli, chicken, apple. All these are great examples of this. And why? Why is this the thing? Why is this so effective? And reason number one is the greater the degree of processing, the more likely that that food has lost its nutrition. So things like fiber, fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, all the other nutrients. And the second thing is really that it's gained additives. So when things are processed, generally someone's going to add sugar or refined starch, unhealthy fats, sodium, preservatives for sure, fillers that make it go longer and take up more space but leave us feeling hungry. Reason number two, diets that are rich in minimally processed foods are linked to lower rates of heart disease, cancer, depression, even type 2 diabetes. And then reason number three is minimally processed foods tend to be richer in fiber and protein and lower in calories per volume. So these foods can make it easier for you to, one, manage your calorie intake without counting calories or really even thinking about it. And you're going to stay full longer because it's giving you that body. You're going to stay fuller longer because it's giving your body the nutrients it needs. So minimally processed foods are more nutritious. They improve health outcomes and can help you regulate your appetite. Here's the problem. It's really hard to only eat whole foods. So I rather you just kind of think of it as a continuum. So as with most things, processing isn't binary. Foods aren't generally 100% fake or fresh from the dirt or, an animal. Most are going to be somewhere in between. And this is why I really encourage minimally processed foods versus limiting yourself to only whole foods. I always want things to feel super easy, super achievable. So this is what I recommend. So just kind of look at the foods you're currently eating. You could even do a food journal and try to move along the continuum a little bit closer to the whole foods. So just slightly less processed than what you would usually eat. Some processed foods are awesome. Salsa, hummus, canned tuna, and those little emergency nut butter packets that you keep in your glove compartment or desk. Snack attacks are real. Sometimes you just need that snack. And then if we're also kind of thinking about whole foods, trying to do all whole foods, cooking, chopping, blending are actually all forms of processing. So really, I want us to start thinking about minimally processed and taking a thing that was here and just moving it closer to the whole foods on that continuum. So it's not that, processing is bad. It's just that those ultra processed foods, so shaped cereal, electric blue energy drinks, pretty much anything that's shelf stable over a year. So if you look at your pantry and it's all shelf stable stuff, I think it's important to have some stuff in there for emergencies. But those are specifically engineered to make foods super delicious so that you keep eating them. And so it makes it really easy to overeat. They also usually contain sugar or refined starch, unhealthy fats, sodium preservatives, and fillers. So let me give you a few examples. So you wrote down your list of foods that you tend to eat, and maybe tater tots was in there. So this was actually my example. So here are tater tots. I love tater tots. And it would actually be a tiny bit healthier for me to even do frozen fries, because those are going to be like whole potatoes instead of, the chopping up and the processing. And I don't know what they're putting in there to make it bind. Does that kind of make sense? And then if I wanted to move one more step on that continuum, I could cut up a potato myself. And still, so like if I was eating, let's say, chili cheese tater tots, and I moved to chili cheese frozen fries, or if I even moved to chili cheese homemade fries. You see how I just kind of moved it a little bit towards that less processed on the continuum. And I think if you just took a few minutes, like maybe even start a timer, what are some of your favorite foods? Just jot, 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 jot. And then beside each one, just list some ways where you could eat them still and enjoy them still, but in a little less processed way. And then I would just pick one or two to try. So we're not trying to like let's say you wrote down 30 things. We're not trying to change all 30 things this week, but maybe try one or two, and I would love to know how it goes. But I think when you try one or two and you're like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. Actually, I did feel better because it was less processed. I didn't feel deprived. I still got to enjoy a food that I loved. And then slowly over time, maybe you're nudging a few more, and maybe some you don't, but you are nudging one or two things maybe a week. And that's just going to be healthier. You're going to be getting those nutrition that you need to help fuel your body. You're going to feel more full, more satisfied. It kind of has like that domino effect. Okay, so I haven't made this yet, but let me know if this would be helpful to make a chart of common foods, and I might be opening a can of worms here, but let's say that was on the continuum. So like tater tots to frozen fries to cut potatoes, but do that with a lot of foods. Or maybe if you just want to comment below, I love this, and I can just comment back, oh, you might like, I love this. How do I, move it over? I could be like, how about this? That kind of thing. That might be easier for me to do. And there's a lot of foods in the world. So let me know what food you try, how good you feel. Let me know if you want a suggestion in the comments. Let me know if you want me to help you move it towards that whole food, make it a little less processed. Please subscribe or follow, and share this with a friend if you think they will like it, and I will see you next time.